Welcome back to episode 10 of the Young Startups. Yes, we have crossed the double digits and we have a lot more content coming in. Today, we get the opportunity to interview another Amazon seller. His name is Andy. Recently quit his job. He's on the full-time entrepreneurial route and he's got a wicked story to share. He's got an awesome approach when it comes to selling on Amazon. And I'm super stoked for you guys all to dive in and listen to this content. All right, welcome back to episode 10 of The Young Startup. Today, we get the opportunity to interview someone that's on a very similar trajectory to us, Andy Isom. Correct me if I said the last name wrong there.
No, yeah, you're good. Isom.
Okay, Isom. Cool. Andy is not from Vancouver, not from Canada. He's from the United States, but again, very similar in regards to when he started his journey. He's been recently able to quit his job and pursue this on a full-time basis. So let's kind of dive into things here now. Andy, tell us a little bit about yourself, your Amazon journey. What were you doing for work before? And what your goals are moving forward here.
Yeah, thanks guys. I appreciate you guys having me on here. Like we were kind of chit-chatting a little bit before this, we kind of have a similar type of trajectory when we started and everything. So it's cool to connect and kind of see how we've been able to kind of follow a similar type of path. Just a little background, I guess, about myself is I did the whole college thing. I went to business school. I've been into, business entrepreneurship for a really long time, but I never really knew exactly what I was going to do. I just always personally believed deep down that I was meant to be my own boss. That's just, I think, my personality. I don't know if you guys know Gary Vaynerchuk. I'm sure you do if you're in the entrepreneur world, but
Yeah.
he would always say stuff like he couldn't breathe in a 9-to-5 type of environment working for someone else. It felt like he was, suffocating in that type of life. And I quickly learned after I graduated college and got my first corporate, we'll call it corporate 9-to-5 job. I quickly realized that I couldn't breathe either. Like I was not meant to do this. This is not fulfilling for me. And I didn't enjoy it. I was good at it, right? I was good at numbers. I worked for a medical company. I did operations, finances. I basically stared at Excel sheets all day. I was good at it and it paid well. Like, don't get me wrong, it was a good salary for me. But it wasn't fulfilling. And I realized, it's not really about the money for me. It's more about the freedom. And so I hated commuting to a job. I hated being trapped in an office. And so I started hustling. And this is back in 2016 when I graduated from college. So I hustled for 5 years, side hustle, whatever you want to call it, doing all sorts of stuff. And man, I talk about this, but I did everything under the sun. You guys name it, I've probably done it. Nice. I've done drop shipping, blogging, YouTube, podcasting. Some of them I still do. Some of them I pivoted away from and ditched, but I've literally done everything you can imagine in the online business world. But it was good because I learned a ton of stuff. I learned what works, what doesn't work for me specifically. And I learned what I enjoyed, what I was good at. And it kind of, all those different experiences kind of funneled me to where I am today, which is, running our Amazon business, coaching people on how to build their brands and scale their brands.
Cool. Just out of curiosity, you mentioned you've really done everything in the online realm. Why online? Why not explore other things like, any kind of D2C, any kind of, retail, brick and mortar, things along those lines? What appealed to you about online world?
That's a really good question. And honestly, I don't think I've ever been asked that question. I think I was always intrigued by the online world simply because of the scalability aspect of it. Meaning the internet connects people all over the world, essentially. So the thought that I could reach potentially millions of people anywhere in the world from my bedroom, that's what was really intriguing to me versus, trying to potentially go and open up my own brick and mortar, whatever it was. Or even like a service-based business, like around town, like where I live. Maybe I'm serving people locally somehow or providing some sort of company. Actually, this brings up a really good memory. I don't think I've ever talked about this on any podcast interview or YouTube video. Not many people know about this. So business idea that I had, and I started pursuing it, that wasn't online. It was called Text for Tech. And I went to, what did I go to? It was one of those websites where you can get like custom business cards printed out.
Yep.
And I made this really fancy, like custom business cardy thing, flyer thing. And the philosophy behind the business idea was text for tech. And I set up a Google Voice number that people could text. And I was going to take it around to some like elderly communities around town. And the thought process behind this business idea, whoever's listening, you are welcome to take this business idea and run with it if you think it's good or not. I never ended up pursuing it, but I was going to like elderly people who are having trouble setting up their Wi-Fi router or using their iPhone or needing help because they struggle to go to YouTube and find a tutorial. They struggle with that. They're calling Verizon, like trying to get help over the phone. It's super frustrating. Maybe they're older and like they don't have grandkids close by or something. So if they need help with tech at their house, maybe it's something on their TV they can't figure out. They text my number. I have a crew of like high school kids that I can pay that when they get the text like, hey, I need help with my TV, one of these high school kids, cruise over to their house and help them with their technology. So that was like a business idea I had that was more of like away from like online. It was like a local type of thing. Yeah. But like I said, I like got deep into it.
I love it.
And then I honestly don't remember. This was probably like 4 years ago. I don't remember what pushed me away from it. I think it was probably just like the scalability aspect of it. But yeah. That was a business idea, I guess I had away from online business.
Yeah. Well, I think you made the right decision there, like, especially with COVID.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
COVID,
crushed it.
Yeah. COVID would have crushed not only that, but I think COVID put into a lot of perspective that the opportunity is migrating online. In BC, Eric actually just shared an article, but the government injected 30 million into our province specifically to help like brick and mortars, people that aren't succeeding right now because of COVID, go online and build a presence. So I think that's becoming more and more of the norm. And I think just consumer behavior has switched a lot to be purchasing online. And the fact that I think just COVID's put that into perspective at the end of the day.
Yeah, definitely.
We look for convenience these days, and we look for like, how fast can we get things? Number one, but also like, do I have to go to a store actually? Like, I don't want to wear a mask all the time. I'm getting sick of that mask.
Exactly. Cool. Now, diving in a little bit further into the Amazon world. Again, a majority of our audience is definitely within the Amazon world, not necessarily e-commerce, but take us a little bit in regards to your journey. Some of the challenges that you faced early on that could have set you back, but you kind of worked through, and now has put you in a better place today.
Yeah, I think with starting an Amazon business, and I think this could relate to any online business personally. But I think the biggest challenge that we faced, or that I personally face, is just doubt. Honestly, I think the biggest challenges are mental, not so much physical, as in like the tech side of things. Mm-hmm. Those challenges are there. They're for sure there. You got to figure out how to use Amazon Seller Central. You got to figure out how to find a supplier. Like those are more like, we'll call them physical challenges in a way, mental/physical. But I think the biggest doubt that I struggled with, and I think a lot of people struggle with, is just doubt. Like thinking, is this going to work? Am I making the right decision? Am I selling the right product? Am I starting the right brand? Mm-hmm. Am I selling it for the right price? Am I going with the right manufacturer? Like there's all those doubts that you have throughout the process that I think were really, they weren't crippling for us because we got through them. But they're things that can definitely hold you back. And that was a big value of having a mentor. So we had a close friend who acted kind of like a mentor to us, who helped push us through some of those doubts. And a lot of the time it was something as simple as, we'd send him a text message about, a doubt we were having about a specific aspect of the business. And he would just say, like, push forward, like it's going to work. Just believe in it and push forward through the process. Yes. And just that in itself, from someone who was already successful, that just helped us move forward.
Yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head there. Pretty much every single person that we've asked that question, it all comes down to mindset. And within our coaching program and the people that we've been able to help, that's like the first thing that we kind of put their head in and just shove their faces in it. Like figure out the mindset component, understand what it takes to be successful. At the end of the day, also a big fan of having a mentor, right? Following a proven framework that's already worked. All you got to do then is trust the process and give her it all.
So I definitely resonate with that. One thing that you did mention was, one of the doubts that you had in your mind was, do I have the perfect product? Is this product going to sell? And you actually mentioned this in your 5-phase guide, but you had mentioned that you don't necessarily need to find a perfect opportunity, but you need to find a perfect product. So I'd like to ask you, what in your eyes, what's that framework or that criteria that you have that kind of aligns towards that perfect product, so to speak?
I have some different thoughts on this, I think, that are contradictory to a lot of other Amazon coaches and people, providing info out there on selling, private label or your own branded products on Amazon. I'm of the belief that, it's more about making the perfect product than it is so much finding the perfect product. I think a lot of people get caught up in Jungle Scout, Helium 10, these software tools that help you do Amazon product research, trying to find the perfect product, meaning they're trying to find, based on the numbers, the criteria and everything, the data, like find that perfect golden home run product. When in a lot of cases, that product, maybe by the numbers, isn't the right product for that person. It's not the product that they should be selling because they don't have the skill set or the experience or the ability to make their version of that product the perfect product. The example that I use all the time is baby stuff, like baby clothing. Let's say baby clothing. And again, this is just like my personal philosophy on this. Maybe you do your Jungle Scout research and you find that baby pajamas are the product to sell. The numbers are great. The data is awesome. Baby pajamas, let's do it. Well, if you're someone who doesn't have a baby, you've never been around babies, you don't know baby pajamas, you don't know if you like buttons, you don't know if you like zippers, you don't know the material, you don't know if your baby wears through the feet of it, you don't know if it stretches out, you don't know how to wash it. You know what I'm saying? You have no personal experience with that product or with who that product is for. So how are you going to develop the best baby pajamas out there? I mean, obviously you could work with friends and get feedback from other people, but I think there is a very, very serious competitive edge to you really deeply understanding the products that you're trying to build a brand around. And the other thing too is, for people listening, there are millions of products on Amazon, millions and millions of profitable products. So people get caught up in this mindset of, oh my gosh, there's one product out there and I have to find it and that's the perfect product. And they just spin their wheels I can't find the product. I can't find a product. It's no, there are millions of products that you could be successful with. Find a product that you resonate with, that you have experience in, that you feel like you can develop based on, like I said, your personal experience with it. That's what I would say as far as, finding the perfect product or making the perfect product. Don't get too caught up in the numbers. Look at your life and your experiences and think about that as well for what type of products or a brand that you could create.
I love that, man. I love that. It's definitely outside of the norm. Not a lot of people talk about that. They say don't be emotionally tied to it. But for you, it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. Now, in regards to that, I'm curious, with the brand that you launched and everything like that, did you use some form of criteria in terms of okay, is this product making money? Is this product too competitive? Or was it hey, do I have something where I can clearly solve an issue? And as long as I market it and attract the right customers, I know that I'm going to get that return? Or was there ever anything that you were able to validate on before moving into that product?
Yeah, really good question. I teach there's two philosophies or two ways to go about discovering your brand or first product, right? Product idea. The first way is the way that we did it. And this would be, you already have an idea in your head of something because you have a dog and your dog wears dog bandanas. In our case, my wife was already hand making these before we launched on Amazon. She was hand making these for our dog because we liked them. We hated the bandanas out there. We liked the way that we made them with a very different shape. And so my wife we would literally drive to Joann's Fabrics and buy fabric and sew our own. Well, then, people are seeing us post on Instagram about it. They're asking about it. And we just oh, we make these. My wife just sews them. So we already knew at that point, like obviously on a very small scale, like it's not like we were selling hundreds of these, like we're talking like a handful of people,
Yeah.
but we knew that it was something that people would potentially be interested in. I can't remember who said this to me once upon a time, but it was like, if there's one person out there that's interested in what you're selling, there's a very good chance there's two. And if there's two, you know what I'm saying? There's a very good chance there's three. So that's kind of like the mindset with that. Now, as far as criteria goes, yes, I am a huge believer in doing your market research. So just because, you know, 5 people say, oh, your dog bananas are awesome, doesn't mean let's go order 10,000 of these and blast them on Amazon. Like, no, that's just like, you know, swinging blindly. So I went on Jungle Scout and I, you know, did all my market research about dog bandanas. So I was wanting to see, is there demand for this product on Amazon? What is the demand like? What's the sales like across the different brands out there? What are they selling for? What are their price points? What are price points of companies off of Amazon that aren't selling on Amazon? So we did a lot of market research to really hone in on our offer, because that's how we had to come up with, okay, how many are we going to sell? What are we going to sell them for?
Yep.
Like all that is based off the research. But as far as the product idea itself, that just came like from within. And so I've had a lot of students that I've, you know, coached and mentored who have come from this same philosophy of they already have an idea for a product based on what they're interested in, their personal experience. We do the research to figure out how we're going to position ourselves in the market for that product and then roll from there. Now, the second way, the other way of doing this is the side of I have no idea what I want to sell. Like I don't have an idea because we aren't hand making dog bananas or whatever. I'm just here and I'm like, I see the opportunity on Amazon. I want to get in on this. I have no idea what I want to sell. So for those people, it's a little bit of a different strategy. Instead of validating your idea with the research and the numbers and seeing how it can work, we go like the Jungle Scout web app approach. Use like, I don't know if you guys are Jungle Scout or Helium 10 users. I've been Jungle Scout user, but like on Jungle Scout, you've got the product database tool or the opportunity finder. And you're just looking, what categories I'm interested in? Sports, home, you know, you look at different categories, you look for product ideas just to get your wheels turning.
Yeah.
Something might catch your eye and then you might say, oh, hey, I like fishing. Here's a product based around fishing that's selling well. And then you go deeper and see, you know, analyze the competition, that whole thing. So that's like the other mindset is let's look at the numbers first, get some ideas flowing, but I still want to connect with that product idea on a personal level with something that, you know, I have experience with.
Love that. Yeah. Really two great approaches. We're big on number 2. But I love number 1. Like I want to be able to do something where I can go and launch like a passion project. But when we first started, it was like, I have no idea what I want to sell. Like, sure, I'm passionate about things like soccer, for example, but I wasn't going to go ahead and sell soccer balls or soccer socks. So we went the second route there, but nowadays it's becoming more and more important to have some form of like an emotional tie to it, because then you get really consumed with the actual business and invested in the business, and things just become more easier. And you know, nowadays Amazon's integrating things like brand story, and that's where those things become more and more important. So I love that approach. Nobody really talks about that. It's always about the numbers for most people that teach it.
100%.
And if I can add one thing to that, like I said, there's no right or wrong way to do this. I'm not trying to say, even to my students, I'm not trying to say like, oh, you have to like be super passionate about this to do it.
Mm-hmm.
People are successful selling all sorts of stuff that they're not passionate about. So you don't have to be passionate about it. That's just like my philosophy. But something like you said, being really emotionally invested in it, I think that is so important that so many people overlook.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people give up too soon because they didn't have the emotional connection to it to push through the hard times. Because let's be honest, like if you're trying to create a brand around something that like you really could care less about, then it's gonna be really tough for the first year. I mean, you guys know how it is. Like it starts slow and then you scale up. And if you like, let's say you're selling, I've seen these on Jungle Scout before, like wigs for women, like hair wigs.
Yeah, I've seen
like,
those.
Yeah, like what if you're like, okay, wigs, that's where it's at. I'm gonna sell wigs. And I'm like a dude, you know, in my 20s, like, I could care less about women's wigs. So when you're like grinding and hustling and like designing and you're kind of bootstrapping it and doing it yourself, you're going to wake up in the morning and be like, oh my gosh, like I do not feel like drawing wigs today, or like talking about wigs or taking photos of wigs. Like you're going to hate doing that. And so you might not have the drive and the energy it takes to make a really amazing wig. You're going to be lazy with it and take shortcuts because you're just like, oh, I just want to make money. Like, let's just get this thing out there, you know? So I think that's something that some people fall victim to. Not everyone, but some people do, by not really feeling that emotional connection to the product.
Totally. Yeah. Well said. Now, I'd
Absolutely.
love to dive into like customer avatars. You talk a lot about this. Obviously, we did our research before interviewing you, but that's becoming more and more important, especially with the landscape of Amazon becoming more competitive and having to build offline, right? Like different sales channels, going D2C, using a Shopify site, all that kind of stuff becomes very important in understanding your actual customer avatar. So, I'd love for you to touch on your process and how you go about developing that avatar for a business, and why it's important to actually understand that both on Amazon and then for anything else that you do off of Amazon.
Yeah, I'm a huge believer in branding, in the power of building a brand, especially now. I mean, if we were doing this podcast interview back in 2015, I think we could have a very different type of conversation, right? But
Yeah.
you guys know how competitive Amazon is getting. You can type in any product on Amazon and you'll see hundreds of results for almost the exact same identical thing.
Yep.
So the way you're going to have to stand out from the crowd is with your branding. And that includes a lot of stuff, right? It includes, your brand name and your logo. It's like the obvious answer, but it includes your photography, your listing, your Instagram account, all those channels off of Amazon, like you mentioned. And so in order to really stand out on Amazon, you have to stand out to someone. Like it's the whole, people have heard this all the time. It's like, if you're trying to sell to everyone, you'll sell to no one or whatever.
Mhm.
But I'm a believer in really figuring out who is your ideal customer so that when you show up on Amazon, it really speaks to them, especially if you're in a competitive market or a market where there's a whole bunch of other similar type of products. So for us, like the early stage process, back when you're like trying to figure out what you want to sell, what your brand is going to be, it's thinking of the brands that you look up to. What are brands that you associate with? Or who are you selling to? What are the brands that they associate with? So if you think about like, you can think about like women's clothing, I think is a good example. Like there's so many different brands out there that are totally different on all sorts of different spectrums. And so like for us, that's kind of what we align to, is like women's brands, because we knew we were selling to women. Like
Mhm.
that's who is buying our product. So we had to decide, okay, which type of woman are we selling to? Because in our space, there's all sorts of different designs. Like that is our unique proposition, right? Is the design itself. Now you've got like the really cheesy designs with the like cartoony graphics and stuff. There's an audience for that. There's an audience for that, and people buy that. And you think about who is the type of person that's buying that. And you might, for us, it was like, we imagined like, Grandma Betty with her 5 chihuahuas and, she's sitting at home, crocheting or knitting or something. And she's got her really cheesy, like that type of grandma person, or that type of lady. Not that that's bad or anything, but that's just the customer that's buying that type of design.
Yeah.
Mhm.
For us, we wanted our brand, our designs, everything that we were doing, our messaging, to resonate with, the woman who shops at Madewell and wears Lululemon leggings and, spends $300 on her skin regimen and gets her hair done at the salon. You know what I'm saying? Like you can picture that type of person who has the designer breed of dog and has her 20,000 followers on Instagram for her, blog channel or whatever. Like we were catering to that type of person, so that when they see our product, it really speaks to them.
I love that. And it's like niching down into the specific market. And I think a lot of people get consumed with like, oh, but I don't want to miss like all the other people, you know what I mean? But the majority of your sales is going to come from the people that you want to target at the end of the day. And this is, another good topic in and around this, and understanding your customer avatar. And if you're going down the whole design a really premium product, this is where you can charge whatever you want to charge, right? A lot of people get into price wars because there's so many Chinese different sellers out there. But if you know truly about, what that product actually or what customers value about that product, then you can charge whatever the hell you want, because you don't have to then worry about that. So you've done a really good job on that. That's awesome.
And I think brand loyalty is a huge thing too. Like you guys know this, like with a lot of there's tons of Chinese sellers right now on Amazon. Can't remember what the stats were, but I think I saw like more than half of the sellers in the US marketplace are Chinese sellers.
Yeah.
And you can pick them out. Like if you're a seller on Amazon, you can pick them out. You know exactly who they are based on their listings and everything.
Their copy and their branding is just
it almost feels like Alibaba, or excuse me, Amazon is turning into Alibaba, like with like the photos and everything. And so you can pick those people out. But with the brand loyalty, I think when you really focus on branding and you really speak to your specific audience, that's when you really start to get that brand loyalty and those repeat customers, those people who are proud to talk about your product. For example, like there's hundreds of people selling dog bandanas on Amazon. Now there's also a ton of Chinese sellers that sell them for dirt cheap and whatever. You don't even know their brand name. Like their brand name is like Zing Pao Pet or like some crazy thing. And the example I like to use for people is, if your customer doesn't know the name of your brand when they buy your product, then you're failing as a marketer. I want my customer, I don't care what it is. It doesn't have to be the product that I sell, any product. I want my customer to be proud of the product they bought enough to want to tell someone else about it and tell them exactly the brand it is. Because think about this for yourselves. And if you're listening to the podcast, think about this. How many times have you ever bought a product on Amazon just like because it was cheap and you're just looking for the cheapest, best reviews? It's some generic thing. You don't really care. It's a stylus for whatever. You buy it, you open it, you throw away the packaging. You can't remember what the brand is. Like you literally couldn't tell me what the brand is. So I said, hey, that thing you bought on Amazon, that stylus, like what's the brand? Like, I don't know. I bought it on Amazon. That's what they say.
Yeah.
But if you buy a product that you really love and you really resonate with because of the brand itself, then you're going to say, where did you get those baby pajamas? Oh, they're Copper and Pearl. I love them. We love the quality. We love the swaddles from Copper and Pearl, right? And they're going to be like a loyal customer, brand loyal customer. Like I have my Movement blue light glasses. I don't have some right here, dang it. But I have a pair of $10 blue light glasses from Amazon. Couldn't tell you the brand. I've had them for 2 years. I cannot tell you the brand name of them. And if someone said, hey, where'd you get those black blue light glasses? I would say Amazon. Oh, what ones are they? I have no idea. I literally can't tell you what to do. But if I wear these bad boys, which were $80, I think, or $60, and someone says, hey, where'd you get those glasses? Are those blue light? I'll say, yeah, they're Movement glasses. Now these aren't on Amazon, but the point is, I know the brand, I like the product, and I will tell you exactly the brand is. So you can go to Amazon and type in, if it was on Amazon, Movement glasses, right? So I say, yeah, they're Movement. I got them on Amazon. That's how you get those branded searches.
I literally tell all of our students the exact same thing. The example that I give is from private label packaging approach as well, right? When I purchase from Amazon, I get two types of two types of sellers. When I actually receive the product, one comes in a regular cardboard box that I will not remember, and one comes in a nice, well-designed package that I will remember. And not only are you going to be able to tell your friends and families about this brand because you actually resonate and remember them, but it also helps you remember, if that person purchased a product from you before, they're most likely someone that's an active shopper within that niche, and they're going to come back and be a repeat customer for you as well, but also bring traffic for you as well. So I literally tell all of my students the exact same thing. I think branding is such a crucial component, especially because Amazon's getting more and more competitive. It's not about launching those Me Too products. It's about taking that right private label approach for one, but also selling that premium product that resonates with the right target.
I love that you brought up packaging, because I'm the same way. Like I've bought tons of stuff on Amazon. And if we're going poly bags, like if you're thinking about stuff that comes in a poly bag, you'll either get the product that comes in like that super like crinkly clear
Cheap
poly bag,
plastic,
and it has like the one little barcode sticker on it, and that's it. And it's just like rip it open, throw it away. Or literally by spending an extra 5 cents per unit on your package, you can get a nice poly bag with your logo printed massive on the front of it.
Yeah.
So that people remember. So when they get it, they're like, Remy and Rue, I know exactly what this brand is. And boom, now it's in their head. Now they know. And a lot of people keep our bags. They're those like resealable ones. A lot of people use these, but like then it's in their face, big and huge in black. They know exactly what the name of the brand is.
Yeah, man, it's all about that customer experience, right? And people don't, and this is like for people that are just getting into business or just starting to build a brand, I think a lot of people get consumed with like the transaction, like, okay, buy one time and that's it, right? A lot of people do that. And that's where scalability becomes an issue because you can't no longer get repeat customers because people don't remember the brand and you don't get the word of mouth marketing that, you know, Remy and Rue, for example, gets because if people love the product, they're going to share. And then it has that trickle down effect and eventually it's just going to blow up. You know what I mean? And that's something that we've always, and we've seen that exactly. We've seen that because one of the things that we drive, and I know that you do too. I believe I saw your insert strategy about like the tagging on social media. Yeah, it goes a really long way. And that's just market validation that you're doing the right thing. I love that.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I mean, going off that for just a second, I'm a big fan of social media. Obviously, this goes into whole branding thing. That's like kind of the whole philosophy here, right? It's like we're really hammering home the idea of branding, especially in today's Amazon. And a lot of people ask, you know, hey, should I, on my insert card, should I put like, please leave us a review? Go to Amazon and leave us a review. Like, I'm honestly not a fan of that. Like, I think the success rate with an insert card that says, please leave us a review is extremely low. It's way overdone. And I'll be honest, I never leave reviews on Amazon. Never. Like I never leave a review. I don't care if I love the product, I don't leave a review. However, with the social media strategy of getting someone to post about, even just post about it on social media, the cool thing with that is then we can strike up a personal conversation. Because if you think about it, if I get an insert card that says, please leave us a review, I'm throwing that in the trash, forget about it. And I literally am not leaving a review. I could care less. I don't have time for that. However, if I get a DM on Instagram from the brand because I tagged them and they get a notification that says, hey, Andy, thanks so much for buying our product. Your dog looks amazing in it. Here's a code you can use to get 20% off your next order. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm going to say, wow, guys, thank you so much. Then they reply and say, you know, we're a growing brand. We're a family-owned brand. Would you be so kind as to go on Amazon? And even if you just click some stars for us to leave us a review, it's going to help our brand grow. The success rate of that person giving you a review just went up like 10x. Yeah. And so just doing something simple like that, and think about it, you get, you know, 5, 6, 7 DMs like that every day. You're just slowly chipping away at your reviews, and then they just compound. And then obviously, you know, once you're at scale, you're going to start to get reviews just naturally. But in the early days, like that goes a long way. Just that personal interaction, asking for a review versus just putting it on a card.
Yeah, 100%. And I think your strategy is, well, I'm literally on your Amazon page right now, and every single product is a 5-star. Like I think there's one product here that's still there's only 27 reviews, which is at a 4.5, but everything else is 5 stars. So I think that strategy, what it allows you to do is it also brings like top quality people, where people that will naturally leave a review on Amazon are people that actively purchase on Amazon. Therefore, they're very biased. You know, they've done a ton of these things before, and they could negatively impact your thing. And I can say by experience, as soon as we go from a 5-star to a 4.5 stars, our sales start to drop. So quality of reviews is becoming so much more important nowadays on Amazon. It's insane.
Yeah, it really is. And so anything you can do, especially early on, because like you said, having those 5 stars filled in on the main, product search page is really important for social proof. People subconsciously look at that as social proof, seeing all 5 stars filled in. So I think that's important early on. And if you think about it, it's basically, taking kind of the average rating of your reviews. So if you only have 10 reviews when you're a brand new business, and one of those reviews is a 1-star review, that's going to really hurt your average stars filled in, right?
Yeah.
Once you have 1,000 reviews, you can afford to get some 2-star and 3-star, and it's still going to show 5 stars filled in for you. So early on though, you got to really make sure that you're getting those 5-star reviews. So anything you can do to obviously make a good product, that's the first priority, make a great product. But after that, make sure you're really having a great customer experience to get those reviews.
Absolutely.
Awesome. I want to jump into, your process behind designing products, because, I saw your store the other day, you had your sketch out and I was like, man, this guy's killing it. You talk about custom designing products through Photoshop. Obviously I love that approach because you can bring a really unique idea to the market, but also make, product your own, of course. You mentioned the specific shape about your dog bandanas is why your product is the product that it is. Could you kind of go in depth about, I guess, how you go about designing and also the steps? So, number one, you draw it out. It's a sketch. And then you talk about like tech packs. My girlfriend does that for her bikinis. What does that process look like? And what are some of the core components of that people need to be aware of?
One thing also to add on to that, Andy, we typically, especially when you're looking, trying to launch variations, right? Again, we've always taken that approach where we're going very much so, looking at existing data on Amazon to come to a conclusion in regards to which variation we want to launch, whether it be color, whether it be pack size. Considering you're coming to the market with a unique design, do you get any kind of validation? Do you do any split testing, or is it purely just off of like what you think is good?
When we initially launched, we did a lot of surveying. And I try to tell people this, like, do not assume that you know what's best for the market. You got to ask. So we literally asked everyone. There's 4 of us, right? Me, my wife, my good friend and business partner, Cameron, his wife. We all posted on our personal social medias. We asked everyone. We had 6 designs for our first product of a 4-pack. We had 6 designs. So we asked everyone, we surveyed, posted polls, asked everyone, gathered a ton of data, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, until we felt like we knew what the top 4 designs were. And then that's kind of what we put out there into the world. And then moving from there, like designing new products, we are extremely meticulous about our design process. We're always, and when I say we, I'm mainly talking about my wife and Ashley, because the women are like kind of the head of the design department here. Because they're the creatives. They're the women. And again, this is important. Like, we're selling to women, so it only makes sense that my wife and Ashley are the ones coming up with the designs because they think like a woman. They know what a woman wants. So they're on Pinterest. They're looking for what's trending, color palettes that are trending, time of year. We launch specific designs at specific times of the year based on the colors and everything. Now they'll sell year round, but we're extremely, extremely diligent in the process of choosing colors, designs. We also, even down to how we arrange the designs in our photos, like where they fit on the photo in a specific, layout. And we've changed like the most minute details of designs before to where it's like the shade of the color red is too light. This line is too thick. Like, it sounds crazy, but just to give you an example for those listening, we have 26 SKUs right now, 13 different designs essentially of the same product. We have some that sell 1 unit per day. It doesn't matter how much I spend on ads, or how much we promote it, it sells 1 a day. We have others that sell 70 a day. We have some that sell 50, some that sell 20, some that sell 15. And the funny thing is, you might say, okay, well, ones with more reviews. Not necessarily true. We've got ones that only have 20 reviews or 30 reviews that are selling 30 a day. We have ones that have 500 reviews selling 3 a day. So, and the only difference is a design. So like design makes a huge difference in your sales volume. So we try to take it very seriously and really think about what type of designs people are liking, are trending. And obviously not all of them work out as a home run, but I think it's really important to be really diligent in your design.
Yeah. And I was actually just going to touch on that because I know that you have a ton of SKUs current state. The importance of having so many SKUs. And I think you hit the nail on the head there, kind of putting it into perspective. Some of your products won't be a home run, but they're still going to be able to bring in 1-2 units a day. And as long as it's profitable at the end of the day, that's all that really matters. You're not the way that the example that I always like to give is very similar to investing. We want to have a very diverse portfolio of products in this scenario, all accumulatively bringing you to that revenue goal. Right. So I think you've done a great job in terms of doing that. Do you have anything to add to that, or is that exactly how you look at adding multiple SKUs into your business?
I guess that's kind of just like the process of like, you have one product with the variations, right? And you're just coming up with different design variations. I'm sorry. You also asked about like, the drawings and stuff that I was posting and tech packs and things like that for future products or different product lines.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly, it's a similar type of process. Like, just to give you guys an idea, our second product line, I won't talk about exactly what it is just yet, but we've been designing it for over 9 months now.
Wow.
I've gotten over 9 different sample variations. We've worked through 3 different companies. We've gone through our own design variations. I think we've gone through like 6 different design variations now where we design it. We think that's how we want it. We work on it, get some samples, get some estimates, and then we realize we want to make some changes. So not saying that you have to take 9 months. Obviously, I would hope that you could do a little quicker than that, but that's just how meticulous we are. And I think the amount of time and energy and detail you put into your product design and development, I think it really also depends on the market that you're trying to go into. If you're trying to go into a market that's like a super niche market, there's not a ton of competition, then yeah, like you probably can get by with not putting forth a ton of effort and stuff into developing a good product that's going to sell. But if you're trying to enter a super competitive market and really try to grab serious sales in that market, then I think it's worth your time to put forth your best effort to make sure that you have a top-notch quality offer to put out there if you're going to try to compete in that type of market.
Cool. Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. Out of curiosity here, I also saw a picture. I think it was a picture or maybe a story, but you were in your living room or one of your guys' living rooms, and what it looked like you're prepping all of your goods, like packaging everything. Do you receive all your goods and do you package them yourself, or what does that look like? What does that process look like for you?
Yeah, we do our own FBA prep at home. And that actually is the strategy that I teach a lot of our US students who are selling obviously in the US, is just doing your own quality control, especially in the beginning, just because, again, this is my philosophy. If this is my baby, my brand, my business, I don't really want to trust someone else, whether that's overseas or even in the US, to do my quality control for me. I want to know firsthand that, everything is going smoothly. When we first started, we checked every single unit. We QC'd every single unit because, again, guys, like when you're launching your products, especially at the beginning, when we only had 1 SKU and you have no reviews, you cannot afford a 1-star review. You can't. So if I don't check every product and one of them has the tag sewn upside down, which some of them did in the beginning, and my customer gets that and they're pissed about it, like, and they leave me a 1-star review, it's going to be an uphill battle to recover from that. So we wanted to make sure every single one was top-notch, great quality, no issues. And then also it's to establish a good relationship. Like when we first started with our manufacturer, out of 100 units, I think we had like 12 defects or something was wrong. Something was jacked up. Now, and we took a photo of every single one of those so that my manufacturer knows, oh, these people are checking every single one. I said, here's all 12 that are messed up. We need a credit for these 12 on our next order. don't let this happen again. It kind of like, in a nice, serious tone.
Yeah.
But now like our quality is top notch. Yeah. Obviously some sneak through the cracks, and we don't quality control every single one, because we obviously can't. We spot check now, but yeah, it just kind of helped build that relationship and the expectation early on with our suppliers saying, yo, like, you got to take this seriously. Like we can't afford defects like this.
Mm-hmm.
And as we scaled up with them and they saw, hey, we're ordering more with them, it just builds trust. So they built more trust in us. We built more trust in them. And then you start to develop a good relationship where it's in their best interest to put their best foot forward, because they know you're going to be a growing customer with them.
Yeah.
These guys doing it right, man. That's like serious care for a business and customers. And it's right, man. Like one-star review when you first start off can completely flop the product. There's no questions about it. We don't have that benefit because I live in Canada, but man, if I was down there, I would definitely be doing that as well. Especially when, you guys have obviously put so much time and effort and care into building this product. I would want it to be like my baby, no questions asked.
We're sending our products to Andy's house to do prep for us. And what's your address?
1,000 units.
But I will say, we're actually going to a 3PL now, because we're at scale to where, we're getting hundreds of boxes and we just don't have the time, or it's not worth our time even to do it. So, now a 3PL will handle all of our prep and everything, which is the case for a lot of, foreign sellers who sell in the US. That's kind of the thing that you have to do as well. But yeah, that's just my philosophy of just really kind of in the early stages doing your own quality control. And when you're only ordering a few hundred units at a time starting out, it's manageable. It's manageable. It's cost effective for you early on like that, putting your own sweat equity into it to get it off the ground. And then when the time comes, then yeah, outsource it or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we have that same advantage. I mean, we didn't take that same approach, but a lot of our products we've launched, especially our hero product, we have 5 variations to it, and we've been working with that same supplier. So they really have understood what we want. And we've been fortunate enough where all of our products are very high in stars, 4.5, if not 5 as well. So same approach. Well, man, I appreciate the time. I think again, like your approach in not only coaching, but selling on Amazon is much different. It's different than ours for sure. And it was great to learn from you. And I love how we're on the same trajectory. I love how we're going to be following our journeys together now. And again, congrats on going full time and becoming a full-time entrepreneur in the Amazon world.
Thank you. Yeah.
Just out of curiosity. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and congrats to you guys as well on your success. It's cool to see that we're kind of on that same revenue trajectory. So,
First 1 million.
Getting close to that 1 million mark. So that'll be an exciting day.
Yeah, man. Well, I appreciate the time. Just to kind of, wrap things up, close things up here. Where can people find you? Pimp yourself out. If people are looking for value, what do you have to offer? Things along those lines.
I appreciate you giving me that opportunity. The one thing I guess I'll just say is just andyisom.com. That's easy. I mean, I'm not going to, take advantage, give you a laundry list of things. Just go to andyisom.com. If you want to learn more, you'll find links to all sorts of stuff that I offer. A lot of free content as well for you guys to learn kind of our strategy.
Yeah, great content.
Wicked YouTube channel. Yeah, wicked YouTube channel, Instagram. So for sure, give him a follow, shoot him a message. I'm sure you're going to get a lot of value from him for sure.
I got one
Thanks,
last
guys.
thing. I got one last thing. Sorry, I got to jump in here. One way that I always like to end off the podcast here, Andy, is advice for your younger self. Like looking back at, where you are now and where you were back in the day. If you were speaking to yourself or even speaking to like people that are young, that are wanting to get started, what would be one core components that you would say to really boost your confidence or get you started in the entrepreneurship world?
I'm trying to condense this into one quick, easy statement. Honestly, I would say follow your heart. Like
Love it.
Whatever you want to call it, divine inspiration, the universe speaking to you. If you're getting those impressions, inklings, thoughts of wanting to do something, I personally believe there's a reason for that. And it may not work out. Like your first thing may not work out for you, but you're going to learn something that's going to guide you to the next thing. I've done so many different things in online business, but every single one of those, even the ones that didn't work out, it led me to something else, which led me to something else, led me to something else until I finally found my path of where I feel like I was meant to be. So if you're getting those impressions, those thoughts, those feelings, go for it, especially when you're young.
Yeah,
Like
time to
I'm
take a risk.
I'm so like jealous of you guys. Like no lie. You said you were 23?
33, yeah.
Yeah, 23, crushing it. I'm 30. Like if I think like, holy cow, if I was doing what I'm doing now 7 years ago, by the time you guys are 30, like I don't even want to know. Like the crazy success you guys are gonna have, but before you're 30 is just insane to think about. So the younger you are, guys, just go out, take those risks. At the end of the day, the only thing you have to lose, honestly, is a little bit of time and some money. But guess what? You can always make more money. Everyone's scared to lose money. You can always make more money. Go get a job, make more money, whatever you got to do. But take those risks. Your future self will thank you.
Yeah.
Agree with that,
Amazing.
man. Take that leap of faith. Absolutely. All right, man. Well, I appreciate the time again. Yeah. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Good luck with everything.